Doesn't this song play for like a lot? Like a lot. Like it just plays endlessly throughout. I really get the feeling there's a couple of songs in this that I should have. Safi, you gormless man. Would it kill you to have some gorms? Thank you. Hold up, there's a. I forgot. I'm very professional, thank you. But I forgot to set my headphone up properly, so there's a little kink in the cable, and it's a very short cable. Because I don't like the extension, it makes the sound quality weird. But I had the feeling that this pool scene is way too long in Wani. Um, I don't know how to explain it. It felt like the longest scene in everything. And I think part of that is that background and like stuff-wise, not a lot really happens. It's a really confused scene that doesn't seem to fully know what it wants to do other than build up a lot of cute character moments. I don't know. I just feel that on a like the demo didn't get touched, and if anything of the demo should have gotten touched, it probably should have been this, or maybe Solly and the like. You know, the characters that barely do anything afterwards. I don't know, man. Anyway, where were we? Damien's place is most aptly described as lived in. You think that goes without saying, but coming from someone who's lived in a house and not a home, that's not always been the case. The family room blends right into the massive kitchen. Toy guns and a couple of Xbox controllers lie haphazardly across the living space. Maybe even Damien's younger brother, or him. I thought you didn't know who Vincent was. Or him. Either would surprise me. Damien herds me out of the sliding back door onto a wooden deck. Got a sizable yard, maybe equivalent to square foot. Why do you care? Why is Anon commenting on the square footage of the house? What are you, a fucking realtor? That's Liz. Above ground pool, concrete patio. You're not a realtor, Anon. You don't talk like this. Why would... Listen. Anon would just comment. They got a pool set up. You know, they got one of those... It just sounds like he's commenting on a house. Like he's a realtor trying to sell me on this shit. We got a concrete patio. It's nice. It must be nice. Honestly, you can make a really fun argument about Anon not fully understanding what wealth and person, you know, because he didn't grow up in that. So he's like, you know, having... Anon is often described, right, as the kind of 4chan loser who thinks that having possessions is the best thing ever, and who doesn't understand the value of emotional relationships. You know, talking to a friend. So you could totally have that element of Anon, like, looking at stuff and being like, man, this house must be so expensive. It's not really. Like, the Payne's house is described as being, you know, they probably got in early before the housing market basically shed itself. And they probably can't actually afford it anyway. But you could play with that angle of, like, Anon just looks at all these possessions and thinks of them when it's, you know, the reason the toy guns and the Xbox are fun is because they can be enjoyed with family, you know? The bespectacled, heavy-set, Again, I fucking hate that. Man's the grill in his Hawaiian shirt. It's like such a... Like, within this fandom, I guess, as a whole, this is such a thing that just bothers the shit out of me. I don't give a damn, man. Like, this stuff is weird, fringe, like, niche knowledge, and people are throwing it around like crazy. Right? It falls into the territory of proper nounisms. Like, not everyone knows these bajillion dinosaurs, and all of them look really similar in funny ways. Man's the grill in his Hawaiian shirt. Why his Hawaiian shirt? How would you know that, Anon? How would you know it's his shirt? Damien yells out, "Hey, everyone! We got a guest already!" The order die low. I would like to... I mean, I know what it's going for. It's like, it's not the... But, the setup of the sentence, you don't... Like, I get it. You try to avoid having too many adjectives here, but come on, man. The dialogue turns to greet me at once. Well, howdy there. It's a soft southern drawl there. One not at all presents in Damien's speech. Hello, sir. I go to school with Damien. Oh, that's such a fucking Anon thing to say, because that's the line his parents gave him. He shifts the tongs to his left hand and grasps my right handshake. A tacky stickiness? I don't know if I would describe any stickiness as tacky, but maybe I don't know. Tacky to me is like quality, you know. A tacky... I forgot. Oh, no, I do have it. It's just that for some reason in the middle of the song... Why are so many of these songs so long? A tacky stickiness coats my hands, and I suppress the overwhelming urge to yank away or otherwise cringe the sensation. I mean, same, my man. Well, of course you do, eh, man? We've heard all about you, Randy Payne, but you can just call me Randy, though. He returns to tending the grill. Didn't think someone would come about this early. Just finished getting the good stuff all sauced up. I grab for a napkin to subtly wipe away the thick, greasy coating on my hand. It's not greasy if it's sticky! Greasy means it's oily and slippery. Sticky implies that... Seriously, is there a definition for tacky? I don't know, because I would love to learn. I would love to expand my vocabulary. Oh, shit! It is! Of glue, paint, or other substances. Not fully dry and retaining a slightly sticky feel. Oh, that kind of... Nah, that's just cool to know. So that's where tacky comes from. A poor taste and quality, because it's not... The glue isn't even dry. Ah, that's great. I like that. What's for dinner, I ask, looking over the eclectic meat collection. Let's see here. We got brisket. Like, the reason things stick to your hand and the reason grease doesn't, it has to do with how fats on your skin and shit work, right? Like, you do know those are, like, separate fucking things, right? Chemically. Let's see here. We got brisket, flanks, ribs, sirloin, tenderloins, top sirloin, bottom sirloin, rounds, and shanks. All marinated in Randy's, that's me, special blend of spices and dry rub seasoning. I like how it's sauces plural. Man, please, I would like to taste the meat also. They must have bought a whole cow with all that beef. You mean for all that beef? Why would he buy the whole cow with the beef? More than fine by me. Smoky goodness reminds you of just how much I starve myself my penny-pinching budget. Anon probably bought cheap, like, fake smoky-tasting bacon or something. I would love... He should comment on that. Again, kind of bring up that Anon is really not in his element in a variety of ways. I wonder if false about table manners when invited to somewhere and not bringing anything. Must be ogling the grill quite intently because Randy laughs heartily. I hope you brought your hunger and your eyes are bigger than your stomach, Anon. I suck back the excess saliva collecting in my mouth and think, oh, I think you'd be surprised, Randy. Well, no worries there. We got enough of that. We got enough that me, Damien, and Soph will have to do it in shifts. He looks at me with a fatherly glance. If you're up for it, you could try a hand too. Assuming the missus doesn't rope you into carrying stuff around. Taken a bit aback. Sometimes I remember my father grilling. He was more likely to break my hand for taking up the spatula than encourage it. Well, I wouldn't want to overstep. The shakiness of my voice causes Randy to double down in reassurance. Oh, it's not too rough, you'll see. It was an imperative. Don't call it that. I get that's how that fucking works, but that's a weird alternative usage of the word. Like, people more often are more familiar with the concept of it is imperative that you know, than to say something is an imperative. I get it. But Anon doesn't talk funny like that. He doesn't use words in esoteric alternative meanings. He's a little bitch boy. But coming from him, it doesn't sound like he would force it on me. Call it a commandment. That's cute. That's a cute alternative way to say it that doesn't feel like Anon's pulling out his thesaurus this morning. His word of the day calendar. Give him a word of the day calendar. I would love for Anon to be using a fucking word of the day calendar. I nod unconvincingly, which Randy returns in earnest before returning back to his task. Again, you're doubling down on turning. I don't know if you can help this, though. I don't know if this can be helped. Back to his task. I turn to Damien. I don't give a shit. Although, actually, I guess in this context, you probably should establish that. So, summer's end, huh? Anything special? Why aren't you asking Randy? Yeah, man, let's go! Oh, well, yeah, no, I mean, why is it a holiday? It's like President's Day, I think? He already explained to you that people were skipping out on school and on. If that's his beginning sentence, I don't think he knows anything else. Before I can question what the hell that means. Again, I get it. Like, props for using bold text, right? Because I really do like that stuff. But again, it doesn't quite work in Archive of Our Own because it's not that different. Like, the boldness doesn't scream as loudly in white text on black backgrounds, I feel. The other way around, you can pick it up a little easier. I wonder if that has to do with how colors work. Because I do know, you know, dark mode and everything. Before I can question whatever the hell that means. Wait a minute. Maybe I should set it to light mode. Is there a light mode? Because it would suit the background I got, right? A woman's voice calls out from past the deck.
Damien, sweetie, you shouldn't keep your baby brother waiting any longer.
A mini-me Damien. Shouldn't he just be a mini Damien? Hops. Why would he be a mini you, Anon? He's not you. Hops the deck, railing and lands dramatically in front of me. What the hell is he mimicking?
Acid punch!
The little tyke reels back. That's not the right version! But we're gonna look it up just in case I'm fucking stupid. Reel is not a verb. You're thinking of reeling back as in, with fishing lines. The reel of a fishing line with double E. To wind something to a reel, to lose one's balance and stagger and lunge violently. It kind of works in this context. Because you do reel back punches. I think? I don't know. Also, I'm well aware that Mini refers to the fucking Austin Powers guy. Shut up. I'm not an idiot. I wanted you to think that I was, so that I could tell you that you're the idiot here. You think I don't like Austin Powers? Get out of here. I don't want to talk to someone who thinks that of me. Who has such a low opinion of me. Little tyke reels back a dripping fist and then drives it right into my right thigh, kicks starting a jolly horse. How? I dropped to one knee, cursing up on my... What the heck? Before raspily trailing off. Yeah, he's way too young, man.
Vinny!
A powder blue? Powder blue. Powder blue. Is that a color? It's a pale shade of blue. As with most colors, there's no absolute definition of an exact true. Originally powdered smalt or cobalt glass was used in laundering and dyeing applications. Wow, what a weird way to get a name. That's cool. That's history for you. A powder blue Saurian wearing a 1930s Ricky Raptor sweater. No. Ricky Raptor. Rushes after the little terrorist. Just a little too late.
Look! Look, bro! Just like Power Raptors! I told you I could do it!
Do I look like one afraid of repulses and minions? Power Raptors don't beat up civvies. The slew of nerd shit forces its way from my mouth before I can think better. But it does make Vinny second guess his actions. He mumbles I don't get things, man. He mumbles a rush, and not at all that heartfelt sorry as he runs out of his mother's range again.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Anon.
She chides the boy even as he runs off.
Vincent, this is why I don't want you watching those violent shows. You're right.
Also, the acid thing, right? I just want to point out that acid doesn't really work like that, especially not inside of like a biological thing. I don't know if anything has... Is that even a thing? Do we even know if the Dilophosaurus have that capacity, or did they just invent that for this fucking joke? Because it really feels like a gag. Because real-life acid is not like that. Real-life acid is way fucking weirder, man. Like, damn. Like, yes, I will believe that it can ruin the dress and bleach the clothes, but... I guess the real problem is that it would soak into it and remain somewhat active, but the problem with acid, right, especially just a dripping hand, is that... Never mind. I just feel that if this was the case, right, you would totally get those acid glands fucking clipped, right? Societally speaking, they would clip those. You might say, no, that's a bad... My man, you're spitting acid. Children are punching people in the dick with this. It takes one incident for this to be like a big thing. And every other species is going to dogpile it. And then they'll be like, oh, this will never happen to me. Fang's like, oh, man, I gotta get a flyer's license. It all started with those Dilos 15 million years ago when they started punching people in the acid dick. God dang. Ain't life just like that?
You know, like... Vincent, this is why I don't want you watching those violent shows. Anon, are you alright?
How does she know your name? Oh, probably because Damien probably mentioned it. Yeah. It's difficult to rub out the crap while avoiding the caustic ooze coating my pants. What is this stuff? Is it bubbling? Hissing? Like, in the original, it felt more like they were kind of goofing around about it, but I just don't like this element. It's so weird. Especially because, again, acid doesn't really work like that a lot of the time. At least as far as my chemist teacher was concerned. Maybe he was just fucking stupid. Let's look it up. How do you even find out if a dinosaur from this long ago has fucking acid breath, right? That's... If you ask me, that sounds like... We have bones of these things. Acid is a chemical compound, so it would need to be on the body somewhere, like a little burrow. I would love to know. Let's look it up. Oh, it's from Jurassic Park. That's why. For the novel, Crichton invented the dinosaur's ability to spit venom, explaining how it was able to kill prey in spite of its seemingly weak jaws. So it's another fucking... I was wondering, because I'm like, man, that doesn't make any sense. To avoid confusion with the Velociraptor featured in the movie, the Dilophosaurus is presented as only 1.2 meters, 4 foot tall, instead of its assumed height of 3 meters. Damien is undersold. He needs to be way taller. 3 fucking meters? What? The geologist J. Brett Bennington noted in 1996 that though the Dilophosaurus probably did not have a frill and could not spit acid like in the movie, its bite could have been venomous as has been claimed for the Komodo dragon. He found that adding venom to the dinosaur was less allowable than giving a color to its skin. Was no less allowable than giving color to its skin, which is also unknown. Yeah, how would you figure it out? Those organic things are gone. They're smushed. Smushed, I say. If the dinosaur had a frill, there would have been evidence of it in its bone, in the shape of a rigid structure to hold up if there were markings at places where the muscles used to move it would have been attached. So to put it bluntly, it's another fucking movie thing. Which, admittedly, if you're going that direction, fair enough. But it... I don't know how to put this, man. I don't know how to put this, man. I just think it's hilarious that there's a whole section on this page that's just like 2 big paragraphs of like, hey, in the movies... Where were we?
It's diluted mucosal acid.
Wasn't it venom? She says sheepishly as she hands me a towel.
You should probably wipe that off. Now.
No need to tell me twice. I begin scrubbing hard enough to peel chrome from a bumper.
Luckily, the Dilophosaurus person gets potency after they reach puberty.
That kid looks like he's still afraid of cooties, so I slow down my fervent wiping of the cloth. Thankfully, he's his mother's son. If that weren't the case, you'd need a new pair of pants. So I couldn't hope for just a cool acid wash look. That's not the same acid. Randy laughs boisterously at that, shaking his head with a snort to cap it off. Damien's mother naturally asks,
so you must be Damien's new friend from...
You literally knew his name! Where did that come from? Or are you just, like, being cute in conversation? Which is a really weird way to do this, considering you already met each other over, like, acid spit. I don't know, man. We're already at second base when it comes to friendships. Or just acquaintancing parents, I guess. This is, that is somehow me. Thanks for having me, by the way.
Oh, it's no problem. I didn't expect guests to show up so quickly. This place is a mess.
Her cheeks crease and her smiles deepen. You mean all the wrinkles get worse?
You can just call me Sophia, dear.
What are you talking about? Anon has not displayed any degree of excessive politeness. Like, does this sound like someone who's being really polite? I'm just saying, man. Also, you could have avoided this problem by having him comment on this in the, you know, having a little bit of, you know, commenting on the whole muttering thing a bit more. Unless this comment is about the whole, like, my wrinkles are getting worse.
That's a great way to make a first impression, Anon.
Speaking of school, Damien told me you were there. Why did we go on there today of all days? Well, I didn't live around many Saurians before. Didn't think today'd be special, much less a holiday. Oh, that makes sense. We don't have many humans on this side of Caldera. But it's nice to share in our culture. Summer's day is the last day of the warm season, you see. All down here from here, as far as our Saurians are concerned. You live in a Mediterranean climate. Hold up. I'm just gonna pull this up, right? Let's just pull up fucking, like... Fuck it. Let's go with, like... Let's go with Italy. Go with the, what's the average Italian climate like, right? Does it ever even freeze in Italy? The average temperature... the average temperature in January and February is still like 13 degrees Celsius, man. If you can't survive at that point, I don't know what to tell you, man. Let's talk about California way. Actually, that is a good one to go for. Is Los Angeles more or less north? Anyway, it's classified as borderline Mediterranean. That's good enough. Medium temperature is 9. I could see that being a problem. Mean daily is 20, though. I wonder, what is their actual acceptable temperature, then? I don't really know that much about cold-blooded creatures.
Ah, makes sense. We don't have many humans this side of Boca out there, but it's nice to share our culture. Summer's is the last warm day of the sea. Okay, we already said that. I nod as he speaks.
I thought you were nodding after he speaked.
That makes sense. I had a lizard I caught as a pet once against my mother's mission, tried to keep it warm with a light bulb. Let's just say I see why they make heat lamps specifically. That was the only pet I ever had. Shit, I probably shouldn't bring that story up around these people.
I mean, they just know not to trust you with a child. Not more.
Ren's already back at the grill. We'll start the grill shift soon, so make yourself at home.
Thanks, Randy. Danophonia is another world. In rock bottom, you are expected to be seen, not heard.
But every adult here defies that expectation. I walk back onto the deck overlooking the banister closest to the pool. There's a number of floating baubles and doodads in it.
I was never much for swimming, but tugging at my sweat-moistened collar now doesn't sound too bad.
Wish I'd known ahead of time.
Actually, scratch that. I have nothing to wear anyway. I wonder if they make it let me... Wow. Anon, for a guy who's super socially awkward, you sure are subtly thinking about borrowing someone's swimwear. It's not gay at all. Should make that a separate line. Perfect. A burgeoning... I just don't like the term burgeoning in this context, because it feels like you're being weird. But does that even work? To begin rapidly to begin to grow or increase rapidly. But the mass isn't physically growing, though. Rips through the water surface. Especially not the way you're describing it. Like, you can say that it begins to emerge at the surface. Then I can understand that it's kind of growing, you know, like the blot is becoming more visible. But you're talking about something that just comes out. Like, calling it growing is just... I don't know, man. Are you... Telescopic ears aside, do you have slow-mo vision?
Causing me to jump back with a very manly yelp.
Emphasize very. You know he would. A very manly yelp.
The spontaneous greeny... Why are you calling... Yelps back. What the hell are you doing here?
I was invited.
I'm on the back foot, so I try to flip the situation. What are you doing here, I live here, moron! After the initial panic, I can see that it's Olivia.
What?
As she clings to the edge of the pool, hair slicked down on her head, showing how long it really is. She's wearing it.
Bubba, Bubba, ahunga!
No time for that, Anon. Lock the fuck in. Trying desperately to hold on of what she just said, I scramble. Well, I didn't actually know that. Unless they texted me clarification before. Guess I should have wondered where she was sequestered away. But that brings to mind something.
Wait, were you submerged ever since I got here?
Her eyes dart away and she slings slightly into the pool as I push her onto the defensive now.
Well, aside from that, I actually know. Really, why are you? Why? Who?
Because I'm Damien's best friend, of course.
She's unconvinced. Favorite skinny?
Unimpressed.
Okay, fine. You twisted my arm, woman. She smirks at that, but it's easy to miss.
Then why did you catch it, you fucking complete moron?
I went to school and when nobody was there, I called up Damien. Got invited, attacked by Goku, and won. And now I'm here, attacked by Goku.
What? You got attacked by the neighbor's dog?
Power level was too much, what can I say? Try to play it cool.
Yeah, 9,000 versus 9 in the dog's favor.
Fuck. Wait, that's a pretty referential number, isn't it? Before I can ask her to repeat herself, Damien yells from across the aisle as he spins around with Vinny on his shoulders.
Hey man, how's your dog bite doing, you know? When Goku started dragging you off by your ankle?
I facepalm as Olivia cackles and floats herself back into the center of the pool.
Eyes to eyes, Anon, eyes to eyes.
Sure, man. You can fool yourself as much as you want.
Anyway, how'd you miss the announcement? Let's set it over the PA in homeroom today.
Oh, that's what that was. Thought it was a cultural exchange thing and someone was singing the Serbian national anthem.
Damn. The school doesn't even know it after all if the PA system is so trash.
How would you even know?
She replies sardonically. That's a word I know, but I don't. But I think she thought it was funny. Sardonically, because it's kind of important to know.
Humorously, but in an unkind way that shows you have no respect for someone.
Well, she can never know of my eclectic internet habits.
You know, just things you pick up, right?
She goes back to a neutral expression, probably not even expecting me to answer that one at all.
You're weird.
No, you!
Doesn't bother responding,
But why but? And instead. It's and instead. You're double negativing, you moron.
sinks into the water not unlike an alligator.
Jesus, please stop fucking doubling up the negatives here. But contrast, kind of a negation of sorts. Instead, the other way around against, not unlike, like my man. That's 5 negatives. 6 if you count the original quote. Jesus. If Anon's that flustered, put it somewhere else, where it fits. Snout and eyes just barely peeking out over the water. Like an alligator. Why is this here? Why not have her sink into the water, and then this, and then you say like an alligator? That's a bit cuter, It makes Anon look like a little goober.
I lean back a bit further over the edge to peer into the water. That's pretty neat. She's actually losing her tails. One big, powerful appendage to make up for her lack of legs. She's still moving them a little, so I guess they're not totally immobile. The thought ends as a wave of water douses my knees and below, leave your tail slipping sadly back into the pool.
Stop looking at me, freak.
Oh no, I totally was.
And she's in the girl outfit for girls!
Oh, I totally was.
Kind of.
I wasn't... Not like that. I point to her, knowing that any more explanation would dig my grave. I step down from the deck and off to Vinny and Damien. So, what are the Payne brothers doing? Damien stops his pirouettes with the dazed and he slumped over his shoulders.
We're just playing the spin game.
We'll leave it at here for now.
Like I said, this chapter feels so sloggy. There's a good reason you want to alter, change... Okay, listen, I'm going to turn off the music. There's a good reason you might want to change up, like, scenes, because it really feels like Anon is just stuck in a room for hours. There's a reason you want to change up environment, or, like, dynamics, or the energy. Like, the mood doesn't change, the pacing doesn't really change, nothing really happens, for the most part. Like, Anon gets into looking at Olivia, but no one calls it out, so, like, the pacing... Everything stays the same, and what a slog it is. Anon's the kind of person to complain about the swamp, but man, is he just making one of his own.